Hi Doodle friends, in this video you're going to join me in my studio as I refill some of my favorite Neuland markers.
Everybody grab your markers, some paper and a friend. The Diane Bleck Doodle Show is ready to begin.
I'm going to start with a 4x6 index card, and I'm going to just go through each marker and do 2 quick brush strokes. What I'm doing is I'm looking for which markers still feel like they have a lot of ink in them and which ones might be dry. For example, this green one, whenever I draw the line, you can see how frayed and dry the ink is. So that one needs to be refilled. I'm going to keep going through the rest of my markers, seeing which ones are dry, so that whenever I refill markers, I'm going to do a big batch all at once. This is a messy job, and since I like to have my nails done, I'm going to put on some gloves to protect my hands and nails from all of the ink because it can get a little messy. So I have this little tray, it's a little appetizer tray that I found in a cute little shop. And I have a water brush, I have the ink refill tips, and I have the Neuland inks that I'm going to be using for this process of refilling my markers. I want to help you understand what is inside the marker before I show you how to refill it. So I have a blank marker right here. This is going to show you that there's a tip of the marker. There's a filament that holds the ink of the marker, and then there's a little hole at the top of the barrel of the marker. This fits nicely inside of this holder. It's a metal holder created by Neuland that allows the marker to sit open in the holder and balance while you put the ink inside. Neuland makes an ink refill for each of the colors of their markers. You can find the number on the side of the bottle. There's a bulb at the top that holds the ink, and then there's also a little pointed tip that will go inside the barrel of the marker. So you're going to turn it upside down, squeeze the bottle, and then pull it out, put it into the little tip of the marker, and then gently squeeze the ink so that it drips onto the filament that holds the ink so it doesn't spill outside of the barrel of the marker, because then it will create more of a mess. So you're just slowly going to drip the ink into your marker. If I'm in a rush and I want to fill the tip of the marker, I put a little ink in this tray, and then I take the marker that has ink flowing from the top down, and I fill the ink now from the bottom up. So then I'm going to place my little tip of my marker inside this pool of orange ink, and I'm going to let it slowly fill coming up the marker, and then the ink is going to meet in the middle. So now we're going to test our marker on a 4x6 card and see how it looks. This looks pretty good. That marker's ready to go. Now let's see what happens when we need to replace the tip of the marker. I'm going to take my tweezers and pull out the old tip, throw that in the garbage, and then I'm going to pull out my bag of refills, and I'm going to choose one that I will then push in to the tip of the marker. Now I'm going to refill the tip with extra ink. So I take my little tray from before, add a little bit of pink ink, and then I'm going to allow the ink to come up through the marker to make sure it's nice and full. Let me show you with this fatter tip so you can see how easily it soaks up the ink. The last step in our process is cleanup. So we're going to clean up all of our trays using a wipe. I'm also going to take the wipe and clean the tips where I've added ink in the back. Then I'll open up the marker and I'll clean around the inside as well, where extra ink might be. So I'll take my little handy wipe and clean there, and then I'll also take that handy wipe and push it inside the cap of the marker to get rid of any excess ink that's inside of there. And the very last step is I'm going to take a washcloth and just tap the marker on the washcloth to see if there's any extra ink that needs to be soaked up. If ink comes out of the marker when you tap it, that means there's too much ink in your marker. And that is it for refilling your markers. I'm going to keep cleaning these up. Thank you so much for watching, and I look forward to seeing you in the next video.
It's doodling time. It's doodling time.